Screen Slurps.
Hello and welcome to Screen Slurps, the movie review podcast where we discuss the good, the bad, and the savage in the world of cinema. I'm Adam Meisner.
I'm Laura Herlocker.
And this week we are here with a very special guest, the one and only, a wonderful friend of mine, Michael Roy, a.k.a. SOLENYA? Michael, tell me if I'm wrong, but I gave you such a horrible time calling you SOLENYA Dion the other day. What is the deal? What is the story behind that name?
So, I mean, I'm surprised you said it right, which is great. But yeah, so SOLENYA means pickle man in like Russian. And so the story is like the pickle man is like the Russian version of the boogeyman. So if Russian kids, if they don't, if they steal or if they don't eat all their vegetables, the pickle man's gonna, invade their dreams, steal their souls, which is really dark, but Russia.
Wow.
And when
I just thought maybe you really liked pickles.
well,
That'd be great.
Pickles are great, but it's not really my favorite food. So I got the name because in high school, I have a twin sister, and we always would have nicknames for each other, and I had a lot for her, so much so that I didn't have any for myself, and she wanted to figure one out. So a friend of hers just started calling me Mickle Pickle, and then as I started making music, I was like, all right, I need to figure out an alias. I was sifting through a bunch of names, and so many people use the same name. It's hard to be original now, and I was like, all right, well. At the time, like Rick and Morty was coming out, and
oh yeah,
the whole SOLENYA. I'm like, what is that? And I look it up, and it's a pickle. And then I remember at the time I looked to my right, and my studio, and my sister's friend just gave me like a birthday card that said "Happy Birthday, Mickle Pickle," and there's a giant pickle on it. And I was like, all right, let's go. And I started calling myself SOLENYA.
I was going to say, I don't think you are the Russian pickle man. I don't think you're the one haunting people's dreams as
You
a
never
pickle
know.
monster. Well, that's true. Michael could be the pickle man, but I think there's so much more to it. I mean, you could be haunting people's dreams as the pickle man, but I think you're really trying to haunt people's dreams as a musician, as the true music producer. Am I wrong?
I would like
think that's
to.
what you're really
I
going
would like
for.
my songs to just be stuck in people's heads until until the days they die.
Yeah, that's what you're really going for here. And what kind of music are you really trying to pump out here? I'm really curious. As a haunting pickle, you got to be pumping out something that's really sticking in people's minds.
To be fair, recently in the past 6 months or so, I've been really into it's a UK genre. It's called garage, or like future garage, and it's like 130, 140 BPM roughly. And it's like very much like a chill, melancholic breakbeat type of style. Very much like creepy and like pickle man-y, like very like
you have a brand,
yeah.
and you're sticking to.
I have to fill out the brand, I gotta make people scared and eat their vegetables. But I've been trying to make more like jazzy, funky, upbeat stuff recently. But yeah, I have a lot of in my discography. I have a lot of very ominous type stuff that very much emulates the pickle man.
I'm kind of getting the vibe of like Krampus.
Yes. Yeah.
Only a pickle.
Except a pickle.
It's in the same vein. Absolutely.
And I like what you're saying about this British genre of, this garage, electronic, all of this combination, but particularly the fact that it's coming from Britain, because this week the movie we're talking about takes place in old 1950s, 60s Britain, and it also raises the question, Michael, or SOLENYA, what the hell were you thinking telling me that this is one of your favorite Tom Hardy films? Because I gotta say, I'm really curious to see, of all the Tom Hardy films that you could have picked, picked. You picked Legend. You picked this movie where Tom Hardy is at the strangest possible character or characters that he could have been, and I don't understand a word that's coming out of his mouth. Not because he's British, but just, well, maybe because he's British, but I don't want to say that. It's just I really didn't know what he was saying.
You're starting out so intense, Adam.
What's the name?
Did anyone understand what he was saying?
Like Ron or whatever?
I mean, honestly, the first scene was probably the worst scene that I could have seen this film open with, where it just looked like CGI graphics of a city that looked like it was fake. And then we see him and himself sitting next to one another because he played twin brothers. Okay, that's fair. But it just looked fake, and then that goes into him talking dialogue of just gibberish. And to be fair, I guess you can understand what he's saying if you really try and put your ear up to the speaker, but what and that's what we're going to be talking about this episode.
You don't get a chance to respond, Michael. Just moving on.
Oh, we're going to be talking about it.
I thought the intro sequence was awful. I wasn't sure where the movie was going, but I love the accents, and because I've seen a lot of Tom Hardy films before, and I can, you can very much hear the pronunciation in his voice, and then Ron starts talking. I'm like, what the fuck is he putting in, like, how, like, the dentures or whatever he had to put in his mouth?
Yeah, they did something with his mouth.
Or it was just completely
They gave him a gum disease or something.
Yeah, he had to do something. Like, that was some serious work, but
they couldn't have actually given him a gum disease, but
it's probably just like cotton balls.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into the criticism of this film that I've got just growing and growing inside my mind, we're going to go into something that we call our side slurps of the week. That's right. Our side slurps are things that we've done other than bear witness to the film Legend. Side slurps are the things that we've done, like watch other TV shows, watch other movies, maybe take swimming lessons, maybe we've taken lessons on skydiving, maybe we wore a Jawa costume from the film Star Wars. I would really like to pick up one of those. That'd be pretty cool. I'm looking at a Jawa action figure on my desk right now, actually. I made Laura's text tone the sound of a Jawa just the other night. So now anytime she texts me, it just goes. So
did you not have the volume on at work?
Oh, it was
today?
On. I think Michael just sits like 5 rows away from me, so he's too far away to notice.
The only thing that I ever can hear at that pitch is remember that, hi Sydney.
I almost spit on my microphone. But Laura, what have you been up to this past week?
Yeah, as always, I can talk about the book that I was reading. So I read the book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. It's actually really good. It was not what I was expecting. I mean, by the name, you can kind of guess that it is like a murder book, but it actually turned out to be a murder book / haunted house, which was a lot of fun. So I just finished that last night. I read like the whole thing yesterday, actually. So just sitting next to Adam, I just read books while he was watching Bar Rescue.
I was watching Intervention too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Our two shows are like Bar Rescue or Intervention.
I was really into Porters for a little bit. Just because.
What is it with us just watching people talk about their lives just going downhill?
Well, it makes us feel better that our lives aren't as bad. It's like, oh, I don't have 37 cats buried in my basement. Like,
no. I do feel really bad for the people in those shows too. They're just talking about how bad their lives are, and then they just can't get out of it. And then people show up at their house like, "We really want to help you," and they're like, "I can't be helped." And it's like, but you can. They're
you're the one that asks.
It's hard,
and then they start doing it. They're like, "No, this is my stuff. This is my my livelihood. Like, what are you talking about, Mom?" Like, no. Like, please, this is killing you. She's like, I don't. Yeah, it's
hard. I mean, Adam, think about if you had to give up coffee.
I know, and I've explained that before. Like, if I had to admit to any addiction, it's like if I'm addicted to anything, it would probably be me drinking coffee, because I can't imagine going a day and not drinking coffee. I could, if I had to, I would go a day and not drink coffee, but still, I love drinking iced coffee.
Not gonna lie, I think I'm addicted to caffeine and Elden Ring. It's bad. Like I know
You can't give up Elden Ring.
I know I've told you that like I'm not gonna like play anymore. I still play like every single day, at least
You
once.
can't stop.
You need to keep finding the pieces of the Elden
I
Ring.
can't stop. It's bad.
Is that what it is? It's pieces?
Oh yeah, the ring has been shattered.
The shattering, as they call it.
It's like reverse Lord of the Rings.
Pretty much, yeah.
You never find the ring. It's just sad. It's
Well,
it's a metaphor.
since we're talking about
something.
video games, I also was playing a video game this week, and I've been playing Spiritfarer on the Switch. It's so much fun. It's a nice, cozy.
I had that
management.
pre-ordered for years because I remember first seeing it on Steam when they first started developing it. I'm like, that looks cool. Like,
It's just so nice.
I'm like, wish list.
I mean, it's sad, but
Is it like?
Yeah, it's also a very sad idea.
Is it like Stardew Valley or?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
kind of.
Nice.
You like get spirits and you make them happy. Not really happy. Kind of like, what is it called when you're like stuck in purgatory and you have to come to terms with something? It's like that idea. You have to get them to understand something.
And these people are like, thank you for finally taking me to the afterlife, basically.
Yeah, because you take them to the door and they leave.
So in a way, you're like Virgil in Dante's Inferno. You're just like guiding these people through.
Yeah, you take over for Carrion. I think that's his name in Greek.
Okay.
Who's the same thing. Yeah.
Cool.
It's good. I definitely suggest you do a little bit of farming materials and
It looks really
plants
cool.
and whatnot.
I'm surprised. I have so much little indie games on my wish list. And the minute Elden Ring came out, I wasn't even gonna buy it. And then my friend gifted it to me for my birthday. I'm like, well, now I have to try it. And it was a dark hole I descended into.
I also got Parkhaven, which is another little sim game. It's very cute. You play as a chicken.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the chicken always says pew, like pew, 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 pew.
Yeah,
Perfect.
it's really cute. But I got sucked into Spiritfarer, so I've been doing that one instead. And yeah, that's really it.
Those games will get you.
They really will.
My sister's addicted to Stardew Valley. It's pretty rough.
I don't know. I didn't really like Stardew Valley. I don't know what it was about it.
It's nice to watch. I like looking at it and listening to the ambience because I'm really into foley songs.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think Cozy Grove was better. I played that one. It's very similar. I liked that more than Stardew Valley.
never heard of that one. Huh.
You have to check it out. I like a lot of RPG simulator games like that, though, where it's just kind of like go around the map and like collect things and take care of people and things like that. Those
Yeah,
kind
like
of games
farming
always suck me in.
sims.
Yeah, farming simulator games.
But not Farmville.
Never Farmville. But Michael, what have you been up to this past week?
So lately, I've been taking a step back from actually like making a song and just doing sound design, which I always talk about doing, but I never actually do it. So I'm finally trying to like sit down and clang some metal together and shake some shakers and try to make some new samples. I do have a couple.
Brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah. I do have a couple of demos that I've put out. I'm just kind of just waiting for a label to get back to me. They're very good. I usually don't say that about my own music, but this shit kicks ass, and it's like a very high tense action cinematic movie scene almost. That's just like keeps you on your toes the entire time. I'm really proud of it. I'm just trying to find a label to pick it up because it goes in a lot of different directions, from house to dubstep to trap to psytrance to garage to back to house. It's really wacky. So
Well, damn, like you got a whole bundle of genres going on
Yeah.
there.
I like, though, that you're so confident. Like, I think it's good when people own
Yeah.
their shit.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
weird.
good.
Yeah, you gotta like it, but I mean, it is. I try to like if it's a niche genre that I'm making, I try to make it as best as I can make it. It's not amateur hour, but I did get some artwork created for it that's like my favorite. It's beautiful. It was a mixture of like actual drawing of this guy in Italy that is just absolute genius in drawing, and he only charges me like $10. I'm like, bro, this this could be like $300 a pop. And then he'll
That's crazy.
mix it with like a Cinema 4D render or like a 3D render or something. So he mixed it with like this crystal that was reflecting all the colors that he drew in the painting. It's amazing. I just want to put the artwork out there. Really.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And we're making we're doing like an animated music video for it where it's all in like Cinema 4D or Blender, and we're gonna have a bunch of camera angles, like zoom out, zoom in, and kind of go through the artwork to just animate it a bit more. And I'm gonna finally have like my first like 3D models character, like my symbol on it. So we'll see how that looks.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited to check it out. Once you get through that, you'll have to share that with us so we can see the music video and hear what the song sounds like.
I did have a song come out to celebrate good old 420. It's called Greenhouse. Hint, hint, wink, wink. And the music video that I made for it is like it's like an emulator of like what you call it? It's called Synthesia. It's like a DMT LSD emulator that syncs to audio. I was able to use the synchronization with my music and just develop this really crazy, it's a trippy video for 420. Like I don't know. Stoners are gonna love it, yay! But yeah, it's like a nice house, funky, jazzy tune. It was basically my first leeway into like making that kind of a genre that I know, Adam, you and I need to get on the elevator song ASAP, please. It was like stuck in my head the entire time I was in the hospital, and it was like destroying me. But yeah.
Yep, that's how I get people hooked. Is I just get my original music stuck in their head, and then you're just trapped for life. So
it worked.
Wait, do I know the elevator one? Is it the escalator one? It's different?
No, elevator.
Oh, I just know the escalator.
Escalators. I made
a song about riding an escalator when I was in high school, and
oh, nice.
I recorded some weird music when I was in high school. I'll have to show you some videos.
The Dragon Slayer video is still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I like showed all my friends. I'm like, look at my coworker. He's so cool.
Oh man.
I don't know if cool.
People loved that song when I was in high school. Like that was the banger when I was in high school.
If you played that at my high school, we have lost our shit.
We were just trying to be different, and my way of making us different was me being the lead singer and a drummer that played standing up, and then we were more like an indie rock band. And then our music, I always felt like we were like, yeah, like we're fun to watch. And then we had the Dragon Slayer song, so like people would watch us and be into it, and then just kind of like doing our thing. And then I'd be like, this is a rap song about fighting a dragon, and then we're just like, yeah!
You're like, what? Let's go.
Like that was the song. Everyone's just like, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, because it's just fun. Like people gravitate towards that when you're having a blast and you're being absolutely ridiculous. Like you're standing up, singing, rapping, and playing drums. Like people are gonna lose their minds because like you're having a blast. So they want to feel that energy.
It's just funny because if we had met in high school, we would not be together.
What?
I was like such a different person in high school. I was kind of fake in high school. I was like a cheerleader and student council and me. And so I would have been like, Adam is the weirdest dude.
I still am.
No, you are, but now I appreciate
People like that
it.
felt the same way about me. They're like, Michael dresses really weird. Like, why is he wearing rainbow pants? It's a Tuesday. Like,
it's a Tuesday. Rainbows are for Wednesdays, Michael.
No, Wednesdays are for pink.
Yeah.
Haven't you seen Mean Girls?
Yeah, I would come in with like a psychedelic cat shirt, like just like a cat, like rainbow cat.
Michael, you need to dress like this for work more often.
Yeah, no.
I don't know what your boss would say about that.
Anyways, so what I've been up to this past week, what I've been doing, I have been playing a little bit of the classic video game. I say classic loosely. The classic video game, The Division 2. That came out in 2019, so it's not too classic, but classic enough for me, because I got it for free, I think, from PS4 or PS5 with my PlayStation Plus subscription. Thank you, PlayStation Plus. When I was playing it then, it was really fun, having a great time. And then I kind of let it sit for a while, and now I just kind of got back into playing it. I thought I'd pull it back up, give it a try again. And with the Division 2, it does get very addicting. I'm kind of surprised that, to be honest, that people are still playing the Division 2, but I can understand why. It's a really addicting game, and I wish there was more games like it. So
I actually never played it.
yeah, it's a really good game, and I wish that there was more games like it. It's just it's that Rainbow Six kind of vibe, I guess, where it's just kind of like third person, and you're going around, and it's like go from cover to cover to take out the enemy. So I guess what I should have been playing when I was younger was like SOCOM 2 or something, because I used to always watch G4 where they'd always have like the SOCOM battles against each other, like teams against teams. Yeah. And I always thought games like that were really cool, where it's always like keep yourself in cover all the time so you don't get shot and killed, and then it's like go from cover to cover, try to outshoot the player from your cover, and then someone would be in better cover and then like snipe you from their cover or something. And games like that always seemed really cool.
I love Battlefield 1.
Yeah, games like that always seemed really cool to me, and that's why I kind of like the Division 2. But the weird thing to me about that game is that there's no crouch button, because you're always going cover to cover, so you can't actually crouch your player. It's always like you're either running or you're like running with your character, and then you find cover, so then you just like go into cover. You can't actually hit like a crouch button because they're saying having a crouch button and also having like cover to cover, the crouch button kind of defeats, like it's like counterintuitive, I guess. And I'm like, well, that's just weird though. Not being able to crouch my character just seems really weird.
That's very strange. Yeah. So your cover is your crouch. That is weird.
Yeah. So it's just really strange when my character just can't crouch. I know that sounds strange, but it's just really weird when I'm standing out in the open and I'm getting shot at by the computer or something, and I'm like, can I hit the crouch button and then run to cover? No, I just have to run and then like hit the X button and go in cover.
Yeah.
So really weird with that game. But anyways, yeah, might keep playing that, or I might be like Michael and go back to playing Elden Ring and getting lost in that game. I also tried out a coffee place with Laura called Ipsento 606 here in Chicago. And I should have tried it sooner, because they have a delicious Nutella flavored latte, and the iced version, because I pretty much only drink iced coffee. But man, was that thing delicious. Nutella flavored latte.
It was pretty good.
I mean, man, if you thought mochas were good,
at least 3 of those.
You haven't lived until you've had a Nutella flavored latte. And my God, I need to drink that more often. And I really can't think of anything else I've done this past week other than just mow down my brain thinking how much I have to just nail on this movie Legend for what it has done to my brain. And you
don't like it.
And my
you couldn't tell that by his opening period.
Tom Hardy. I mean, there's so many other things Tom Hardy could have done with his time, and he had to put it into this. Come on. And with that being said, that brings us into our film of the week, Legend, created in 2015, directed by Brian Helgeland. I can't even say his name correctly. Brian Helgeland. I'll assume that's correct. Brian Helgeland. Screenplay by Brian Helgeland. I'll have to look that up. Sorry, Brian.
You got it. No, you got
it. Doing my best for you, Brian, even though the movie made me very upset. It's based on The Profession of Violence by John Pearson. And the film stars quite the cast. The film stars Tom Hardy, Emily Browning, Colin Morgan, Taron Egerton, David Thewlis. It's interesting.
You're just reading off random people.
No, they're not random. These are people that star in the movie.
Professor
Lupin is David Thewlis.
I like that we call him Professor Lupin, though.
That's what everyone knows him from.
He's Lupin in my eyes.
Christopher Eccleston, who's known as Doctor Who.
It's not Doctor Who.
He's Doctor Who now.
He's the Doctor.
Doctor Who? And Chaz Palminteri, who I know from The Usual Suspects. I'm sure he's been in plenty of other things, but that's the movie that I know him from. And he played a pretty.
You forgot the nice little cameo by Paul Bettany.
Which cameo was that?
He's like the guy in the beginning that gets arrested while he's watching the World Cup.
Yes.
He plays Vision in the Marvel movies.
Oh, okay. Yes.
He does a lot of stuff, but that's his recent thing.
But that's kind of the brief beginning of what we'll be talking about this week, Legend. And just to be blunt, I didn't think this movie was very legendary, to be a little punny.
Yeah, I want to hear this. What don't you like about it? I mean, to be fair, I think as like a movie as a whole, it's not bad, but it's not great. But there's just some scenes in it that like at work, I'll literally watch them like 8 times over. Just watch them because I don't know. I just love his persona for Ron. Just like the weird shit he'll say, like when he like tore that guy's ear off at the bar.
Yeah.
And he just goes, rah, like just like grunts like a madman.
I mean, Tom Hardy is the reason to watch this movie.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
His acting is amazing.
Yeah. And I think that really the draw for me into even wanting to watch this movie at all, the real draw for, I think, a lot of people to watch this movie is the fact that Tom Hardy is 2 characters. And yes, the movie is based on a true story, but whether or not it's based on a true story or not, the real appeal, I think, here is the fact that it's Tom Hardy playing the characters. He's Tom Hardy playing the brothers. And it's basically like synonymous with if it was like Leonardo DiCaprio or something playing twins. I think Tom Hardy's got that state of appeal at this point where it's like, listen, like we're not in the days of Leonardo DiCaprio anymore. Now we're in the days of like Tom Hardy or Tom Hiddleston now.
Well, I think now it's like Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. That's what I was. I said Tom Hiddleston. I meant Timothy Chalamet. I was thinking Dune, and I said Tom Hiddleston. But even still, Tom Hiddleston's a popular guy. So yeah, don't let me get my Toms mixed up here. My Toms and Tims and all the T names. The point being that Tom Hardy is just a very appealing actor for, his looks, his talent, everything that he can bring to the table for a film. And we already saw that with what he did with the film Mad Max. That was already, this climactic blockbuster of a film. And I actually had a very nice note that does relate from Mad Max to this movie, is the fact that his double for this movie, because Tom Hardy is playing 2 characters, the stand-in for Tom Hardy was a man named Jacob Tamuri, who was Tom Hardy's stunt double in Mad Max Fury Road. So... very interesting point to be made for this movie. The fact that they pulled the same guy that they used for Mad Max Fury Road as Tom Hardy's stunt double to be
That's common, though, isn't it?
His double in Legend.
Isn't that common? Like actors will have one stunt double who does a lot of movies for them.
I would think so. I guess
because then they know their body movement.
Yeah,
they would work well with them.
Yeah. Just to kind of go off of that, I also am not a big fan of this movie, but like I do think Tom Hardy was great. I think my problems with the movie is just that the plot is very like meh. I don't know. I love crime drama.
I agree. No, I completely agree.
It's just like
the plot's just not.
There's
like,
better crime dramas.
Impressive. It's not something you can really grab onto. I could give a shit about Francis.
Yeah.
I loved just the. Ironically, it was just Tom Hardy and Tom Hardy, but the relationship between the brothers. Being a twin myself, the scene in the bar where they just beat the piss out of each other, quite literally, is kind of how some of the fights my sister and I went through.
Hopefully not like, as intense.
Yeah, hopefully
it's
not
vicious,
beating each other.
But you have your rules. Like you don't go for the eyes. You don't go for the hair.
Did you mark
But
that all out on a
there's-
notepad too? Like you're just like, all right, listen here. We
It's
got
the unspoken
rule
rules.
1, rule 2.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's unspoken. I mean, I hope there's not like a referee and a coach or something in the corner like, all right, you twins.
Yeah, no, that's my mom. But when that like the bar scene, I just love is they start slapping each other like kids, then they really start punching each other. And then Ron grabs the champagne bottle, and Reggie's like, "No, not the bottle.
Oh, that was
Put
intense.
it back." I just thought it was so funny because that's especially even if you're not like brothers, but like just like two like best friends who are in high school. That's usually how like arguments would follow. Is like you would go at each other, but
There's a
like,
line.
There's
Yeah.
rules.
No, I totally get what you're
You gotta
saying,
be a
though. Like,
gentleman.
Tom Hardy playing these two characters and how well he did it at creating the relationship between them was really, really good.
It was like the best relationship of any characters in the show, and it was the
Yeah.
one person.
Like, he could have done this movie by himself.
Hilarious. Yeah, exactly. He carried the entire
did,
movie
he
by
did.
himself. Like Lupin's great, but yeah, no.
Oh, Lupin.
I love him.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting that Tom Hardy had to have these two personalities for, both brothers. And the one brother seemed, in the beginning, he seemed kind of friendly. He seemed a little nicer than the other one, a little more put together. And, I will say Reggie, he seemed like the friendly brother, the more sophisticated brother. And as it goes along, Ronnie seems a little more ragged and a little more like he has gum disease in his mouth.
Just
And
batshit crazy.
yeah, he seems very crazy. And the way that Tom Hardy was talking as
He's a schizophrenic.
as Ronnie, the way that Tom Hardy's talking as Ronnie is like he's got cotton balls in his mouth or something. It's like, and again,
Yeah.
you cannot understand anything
exactly it.
that either of them are saying, whether Tom Hardy's playing Reggie or Ronnie. All of the dialect that both of them are saying is basically like, so where are you going to go, mate?
Now, in the movie's defense, though, Adam,
It's a Gaelic.
like, that is a dialect in the UK. We're Americans. I mean, watch Peaky Blinders.
And
I
that-
can't understand half of it. Or
and
Outlander.
that- right? Yeah. I love it. I think it's hilarious. I don't know. That's just
I do
I need
wonder,
to
though,
move
like,
to move over to that area and just live there and
I don't know
start
about that.
just
just
experience it.
but I wonder if they
And,
like
like, they're-
played up the accents because it was an American director.
I'm sure they did that to the exaggeration just to be like, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
foreign.
Oh man. Yeah, it was really really doing me in and Laura asked if we could put the subtitles on. I was like, no, we need to really just try and understand what's going on.
I seriously have to have subtitles for Outlander and Peaky Blinders.
Oh, Peaky Blinders, yeah. To be fair, the past like 4 years, it's like frustrating that it's come to this, but like so many, like that's just the norm is to have subtitles now, 24/7, even if you can hear it perfectly fine. I don't know
It is
why.
more
Like,
popular, I think,
most
now.
shows now have it on default. Like the subtitles are on default. You're like, wait, I don't want that shit. You turn it off, and they're like, oh wait, I do need that. You turn it back on.
And put it aside that I was having a hard time understanding what a lot of the characters were saying. Let's just imagine that even if I could understand a lot of the things that they were saying, whether or not I could understand what they're saying, whether I can understand what they're saying or I can't, let's rely on the actions that they're making and the cinematography of this film. I think a lot of the cinematography was pretty great. I think a lot of the shots looked, they weren't bad. They were working pretty well, I think, for this. But what the real flaw, I think, it wasn't so much the cinematography, but where I think it fell short was that I think a lot of the elements of the story were just so back and forth and just did not connect as well as I think they could, because the story was just all over the place in terms of what it was trying to tell me as the viewer. I never knew really where the story was trying to go in terms of what I really needed to know in the end. with the characters. It's like, who am I really trying to follow here with these brothers, and what is their real problem, and what is, you know, the girlfriend's real point in this story, and who is
None.
this cop that's introduced in the beginning? Because I find out that Christopher Eccleston, Nick, he's a cop that's on a case, but what's the real case that he's on here? How much of an importance does this case really have? Like, is he chasing the brothers already? And then if so, like, how imperative is it that he closes on this case? Because, like, he's there and then he's not. And so then, like, we're following the brothers now. And then, like, his character just kind of drops out. Like, Christopher Eccleston's just gone. So we're following the brothers again. And then, like, which brother has more importance, Ronnie or Reggie?
I think part of the reason why the plot is like aimless is because in reality, the Kray brothers were really not like mobsters. They were more celebrity mobsters. So it's not Al Capone. It's not, you know, these big name like mobsters that we all know and love. The Krays were more like, I mean, they owned a casino and like skimmed money, you know.
They're very much like low.
Yeah.
Gangsters.
So I think the movie is just kind of because they didn't do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally. Yeah. It's what. And as much as I love the movie, as a whole, it's just not there. But what I love is it's one of those movies where I can just go back to just different scenes throughout. Just play them back and like be just as entertained as I was like when I first saw it. Because like, and ironically, almost all the scenes I watch are, you know, ones that consist of Tom Hardy's characters, you know, and the relationship between Ronnie and Reggie, and then the eventual, you know, even in the beginning, Reggie knows that his brother's just fucked up in the head, just absolutely crazy. Because like he like makes a joke, he's like a paranoid schizophrenic walks into a bar. And Ron walks in with the hammers.
Yeah.
It's clearly noting that like he knows his brother is absolutely batshit insane, but he just, and they don't really bring it up until what was that scene when Ron freaks out on Lupin, freaks him out, and then Reggie's just like, dude, you're just insane. Why would you do that? He's like a part of our gang, and he basically just tells him in front of everyone like you're crazy.
I do think, too, there were some cool, as you're talking about scenes, there were some really good ones. I was reading that, like, the first scene where he takes Francis to the bar is, like, one continuous 6-minute shot. So where they go sit down and then he goes over and does some business and, like, comes back. You know, there's, like, nice scenes like that.
Yeah, it's creative in some ways, and especially just kind of knowing, I don't know, like, I guess I've, like, connected emotionally in some level, just like, you know, when you like lose someone, you kind of feel that pain. Clearly, like Reggie was feeling that when he like went up to when he went to that party, and God, who was the guy? I forget his name. He was just so ugly. I just forgot his name. But basically like Ron like takes off his hat when he's like interrogating him, like blaming him for basically causing Francis' suicide. And he just, Reggie just goes off. And it's like the first time we finally see like the Ron side of him come out.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
The shit out of that guy.
That in the beginning it was played like they were so differently, but you kind of realize as the movie goes on, like Reggie's just as crazy as Ronnie.
Oh yeah, he's just contained, but when he can come out and be just as vicious, if not more.
No, exactly. I was gonna say, while we're kind of talking about just like plot, it is interesting because Brian Helgeland, whatever, he also wrote like Mystic River, LA Confidential, and the Russell Crowe Robin Hood. And I think those are all really great movies. So I'm surprised the writing isn't a little better.
Yeah.
He also did A Knight's Tale, though, which was so bad.
I never saw that.
It's the one with Heath Ledger.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's like medieval. He's a knight.
Oh, I've not.
Oh, go watch it.
I'll have. Is it?
It's like it's not good, but it's good.
Okay. It's always fun to like watch like just really.
Oh, you can
bad
ask
movies.
Adam. I love bad movies.
I've actually never seen A Knight's Tale, but
Oh, we're gonna watch it.
Or like Birdemic.
I don't know.
I
that
know
one.
what Birdemic is, but I haven't seen it. A Knight's Tale actually has a 79% audience score on.
I just
Rotten Tomatoes.
remember it being dumb.
It's beautiful. Let's just say that.
Yeah, don't be hating on Heath Ledger.
And I wasn't.
He's a
Adam's
national
going down a
treasure.
rabbit
Leave him
hole
alone.
now.
Yeah, I couldn't connect with this Tom Hardy film, but as we continue here, Laura, were there any fun facts at all about this film? Is there anything fun that you found about Legend?
Oh, I got a bunch.
There's fun facts that you found about this film?
Yeah. Well, mostly like
Oh.
factual errors because it's based on a true story. But I think one of them kind of leads into something that I think could be a good discussion, and that is the role of Frances in the movie. I mean, Michael, you kind of already brought this up. Like, she doesn't have a purpose.
Yeah, no, she's just there.
Yeah.
That's pretty true.
Like, they put her in as the narrator to try to also make her maybe like a morality point of the film.
They really tried to make her significant. Didn't
Well,
work out.
and that's exactly what I was leading to. So in actuality, like real life, her marriage with Reggie was only like 8 months long, and it wasn't really like anything. So her family was super shocked that she played such a big role in this movie, because also her suicide happened years later. So it wasn't like how the movie makes it seem like Reggie caused it. I mean, maybe he did like
wasn't related
in the
at
long
all.
run, but
So they're like a little
yeah,
fling,
so it wasn't
but-
anything serious. And they were
Interesting.
saying that actually like their mother was the biggest woman in like most important woman in their life. So it would have made the movie better if they had used the mom instead of Frances.
Yeah, I mean, they did have that one scene, when like when Ron clearly was staying
Mm-hmm.
at the mom's house to like be protected and not have Reggie go off on him from their mom, but
Yeah. And also you see that scene, like the mom is very much, they're trying to keep her out of it, but she knows.
Yeah.
Like she knows everything that's going on. Because when she's like, he's your brother and you're going to protect
He just wants cake.
yeah,
just cake.
He just wants his free cake.
let me.
But yeah, so that's my fun fact about Frances.
It's really funny now that we've like started putting together clearly the only two significant characters in the story were the brothers,
Mhm.
but they really tried to exaggerate like these people's lives, because it sounds like they're just there's I don't know, they weren't that important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
think,
it was clearly
well, and so another fun fact going with that, the movie was really only greenlit because it had an American director, and they were hoping it would make it more like an American gangster movie. So to like make it a little more
Really?
exciting.
Oh God.
Oh wow.
Um,
So they really were just like going as hard as they could to just
I
exaggerate
think so.
the shit out of everything.
maybe we have to watch
Really blow
the
it up.
older Kray movie
Yeah.
and get a better
Oh, is it
understanding.
I think so. With the Spandau Ballet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's from the 1990s, I think. And it's two members of Spandau Ballet who play the Kray brothers. I think they're
Cool.
brothers in
All right,
real
I'll
life.
check that out.
The boys.
Oh.
Not boys, the men.
Yeah. And what was the movie? Just the craze?
It's the Krays.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the 90s. But it's a British film, and I'm sure it's probably more accurate. So maybe it's a little more subdued.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that.
Another fun fact. Sorry, as I like take over this episode and just talk nonstop. In real life, Ronnie was bisexual, so not necessarily just a gay man, but it was very like hush hush. So only people in the inner circle knew about it. It wasn't spoken openly like he did in the movie, how he just like upright to the American gangster was like, I prefer boys.
Yeah. Which I think was her cinematic intention to kind of, society, you know how it is nowadays. Yeah. Everyone's got to be included.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it was much more subdued in real life.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
But supposedly Reggie admitted to killing Teddy, who was Taron Egerton's character, like Ronnie's lover. Reggie admitted to killing him in real life.
Really? Wow.
That is very strange.
I mean, just got all these like undercurrents of crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy with the brothers.
Cool facts.
Something I'd have to.
It's just two brothers.
Yeah, I feel like I need to read up on the actual brothers now and see what sort of relation there is from this movie and
I think
the
it's
actual
boring
facts.
now.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, sounds like everything was just blown out of proportion just to make something substantial, some sort of 60-minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 120 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, with that in mind, moving on to what some other people other than myself and Laura thought about this movie.
And Michael.
You
forgot about Michael.
We can't forget about Michael and Michael's thoughts on this movie. Michael, you keep talking about all these scenes that you really enjoyed from this movie, and do you honestly think this movie is truly that great? I've really got to ask, and I'm gonna find out sooner or later. But
I just love the scenes.
What is your absolute favorite? Is it the brothers fighting?
Yeah, I just love the I do this a lot with certain movies because a lot of movies I don't even like them, but there's certain scenes that I just obsess over. I don't know what it is, but there's the lines in there are just perfect. It always makes me laugh, or it grips a certain emotion a certain way, and just the animosity that you kind of have towards Twin, which is completely relatable. I mean, elementary school and middle school, my sister and I hated each other, like seething. It was burning hatred, and I don't know why, but it just happens, and then you just kind of make up. But yeah, just the twin dynamic, and it's just very certain scenes. Because I'm like that with a lot of different movies as well. There's a lot of modern day Spider-Man movie. I'm Spider-Man is my favorite character of all time. I'm wearing his T-shirt right now, and all the modern movies that have come out in the past 4 years have been very meh for me. But there's one or two scenes I'll watch every single day.
Who is your favorite Spider-Man?
Ooh, Andrew Garfield, 100%.
Hey, I have to agree. I've got to catch up on the Tom Holland movies, but honestly, the Andrew Garfield movies, I think, are just the most.
Andrew Garfield, 100%. Most, because he gave so much color to the character. I loved how his quips weren't overly cheesy like Tobey Maguire's. They weren't just naive and childish like Tom's. They're smart because Peter Parker's a smart fucking character. So they're just their quips and their conversational humor where you can miss if you're not paying attention. And then if you listen to it, you're like, oh crap, oh, Boys in Blue are here, or when he's in the car with the carjacker, he's like, the hell are you supposed to be? Are you a cop? Really? You think I'm a
Oh, yeah. I know what scene you're talking about. Yeah.
It's I thought you were thinking more of the guy in the luge, and he's just, I don't know, he just keeps going. It's not something movies, they're for the dramatic effect.
Yeah.
The line comes out at perfect time when there's silence and he's about to do a cool move. But Andrew Garfield's character, he just is constantly talking the entire time as the Spider-Man in the comics was written to do, which I just thought was, Andrew Garfield in general is one of my favorite actors of all time, to be fair. So
nice.
There's that.
And his story's just very sad, but
yeah, I love the tragedy because that's Spider-Man's gist. Nothing works out for him, and Andrew Garfield has the biggest tragedy for all Spider-Man.
Well, this brings us to our final reviews on this film.
I mean, most people give it a meh.
Yeah.
I was about to say, can I do a slurp meh?
Yeah.
I was going to say, looking at some other reviews around online, most reviews that we have found, if we start with Rotten Tomatoes Reviews from Rotten Tomatoes look like a 61% critic and 59% from the audience. So my initial response about the movie Legend from 2015 as this movie not being legendary, I would say most people agree with me. Also, looking at the review from Roger Ebert, looks like Roger Ebert gave this movie a 1.5 out of 4. Ooh. With a following quote from the review. Quote, right off the bat, it's a muddle because of Helgeland's slavish devotion to Martin Scorsese, a bad thing to display when you don't have Scorsese's chops, end quote.
Ouch.
Oh, this guy's fun at parties.
Yeah, so listen, I think with that in mind, from other people's perspectives, that brings us to our final slam dunk moment of our show, the Slurps Up or Slurps Down section. Slurps Up meaning we give this movie our recommendation. We think it's good. We think it's worth your time. And Slurps Down, a Slurps Down would mean we don't think this movie's worth watching. We think it's a pile of garbage. We think you should throw it out your window and maybe never look at it again. So, Laura, what do you think of this film?
Yeah, no surprise. Slurps Down from me. I just think there's so many other mafia, mobster crime dramas that I would rather watch. And, you know, I think it's a bit of a problem that everything is always compared to Scorsese, but he is kind of the father of like the gangster movies. I mean, Francis Ford Coppola also maybe with The Godfather, but yeah, it just didn't do anything for me. I think Tom Hardy's great, but like, and he does really good as two people, but I would say just go watch Peaky Blinders because then you get a good plot and like Cillian Murphy on top of Tom Hardy. And yeah. So Slurps Down for me.
And Michael, what do you think? Would you give this movie a Slurps Up or a Slurps Down?
Honestly, dude, Slurps Up just because of the amount of times that I've watch these scenes at work. I mean, dude, it's like at least like 12, 22, like a day, just because I don't know what it is. Like, there's a solid 3 scenes that I watch all the time. And to be fair, if it's only 3 scenes that are good in a movie, that's pretty rough. But these scenes alone, like, there's just something about them. I love the timing of the music. I love the lines made and the kind of the conversational quips that Tom Hardy is saying like throughout when you're not really, it's obviously not mic'd up. It's not the center of the dialogue, but it's kind of something in the back. Like when they're fighting at the bar and Reggie breaks Ron's nose and he just starts squealing like a girl. Just starts like completely breaks the tension of the scene. And he just walks over to the bar to the old man. He's like, give her that. Just like, super unaudible, just like give it here and just downs it. And I just like, I don't know, just like little stuff like that. I'll like lose it. I'll laugh in my cubicle. I'll be like, I gotta go tone it down. EBK. The motto.
And for me over here, you know what I'm going to say, and I'm going to say it anyways. I'm going to give this movie a Slurps Down because, listen, if you watch this movie with Tom Hardy, you're going to wish that you already watched a different movie with Tom Hardy because Tom Hardy has an entire library of films that are 1,000,000 times better than this one, and you'll actually understand the words coming out of his mouth. Watching this movie,
you like Venom?
I would probably prefer it over this movie, and I haven't even seen it yet. So what does that tell you, listener? Watching this movie, I feel like there could have been anything else that I could have watched, and I probably would have preferred it because this movie, I felt like I wasn't understanding the story. I didn't understand the importance of the story as I watched it. I didn't know which brother I should have followed to get the importance out of the story, and I didn't really understand what the importance was with Reggie's girlfriend? Why was she there? What was she really bringing to the story other than just being a narrator and essentially being like Doug Funny was in Nickelodeon, telling me what was going in her journal? So yeah, why bother? Why do I care? And if I really care that much, I'll go read a history book about the Kray brothers. So with that being said, Slurps down. I don't need to go back and watch this movie, and I'll save you time by saying don't watch it. And with that being said, that wraps it up for this episode of Screen Slurps. Be sure to follow us on social media at Screen Slurps on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. And be sure to listen to us on Spotify, Ghana, or just about any other podcast streaming service out there. And if you enjoy what you hear, slide on over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star rating. It will help us a lot. And if there's any crazy movies that you want to hear about, let us know. Leave a comment on one of our social media pages, and trust me when I say we will be sure to talk about it. So, closing out, I'm Adam Meisner.
I'm Laura Herlocker.
And joining us this week, what's your name, buddy?
This is Solenya.
Oh my gosh, it is the
was
Russian
such a creepy
pickle
whisper.
Man. Be sure to follow Solenya, listen to his music, and with that being said,
Bye.
Slurps up, and we will catch you later.